There's a moment that visits everyone. It usually comes late at night or early in the morning, when the world is quiet and you're left alone with the truth you've been avoiding. You look at your life, at the goals you announced but never started, at the habits you promised but never kept, at the person you swore you'd become but didn't. And in that moment, a question surfaces, one you've been running from. Why can't I just do it? You know what you need to do. You've read the books, watched the videos, downloaded the apps, made the plans, and yet, here you are, again, another year ending, another year beginning, and that same quiet fear whispering, what if this year is exactly like the last? This video is my answer to that question. Not tips, not tricks, not 10 hacks to be more productive, something deeper. A complete philosophical blueprint for becoming disciplined. Not for a week, not for a month, but permanently. By the end of this video, you will understand discipline in a way you never have before. And you'll have an operating system that works with your psychology, not against it. But I have to warn you, this isn't comfortable content. This isn't designed to make you feel good in the moment and forget everything by tomorrow. This is designed to change you.
So close the other tabs. Put your phone face down. Because what we're about to build together could be the difference between another wasted year and the year you finally become who you've been waiting to be. Let's begin. In architecture, there's a concept called structural integrity. It's the idea that a building stands not because of any single element, but because every element works together as a unified system. Foundation supports the walls. The walls support the roof. The roof protects everything beneath it. Remove any piece, and the whole structure becomes vulnerable. Discipline works exactly the same way. Most people fail at discipline because they treat it as a single thing, something you either have or don't have, like a character trait you're born with. But discipline isn't a trait. Discipline is an architecture, a structure built from interconnected pillars, each one essential, each one supporting the others. Today, I'm going to give you that architecture. 4 pillars that, when built together, create a self-reinforcing system of discipline that doesn't require constant willpower, doesn't demand superhuman effort, and doesn't collapse the moment life gets hard. Pillar 1, the discipline of vision, clarity of purpose, knowing deeply why you're sacrificing comfort.
Pillar 2, the discipline of identity. Becoming the person who is disciplined, not just doing disciplined things. Pillar 3, the discipline of environment. Engineering your world to make discipline easier and temptation harder. Pillar 4, the discipline of recovery. Sustainable discipline through strategic rest, not collapse. 4 pillars, one complete system. Miss any single pillar and the others become fragile. Build all 4 and you create something that can withstand anything 2026 throws at you. Let's start with the foundation everything else rests upon. Pillar 1, the discipline of vision. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, your alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. It's dark, it's cold, your bed is warm. Every cell in your body is screaming at you to stay down, to hit snooze, to give yourself just 10 more minutes. Now let me ask you something. In that moment, that brutal, honest moment when comfort is pulling at you with everything it has, what gets you out of bed? Not what should get you out of bed, not what you think sounds good, what actually gets you out of bed? For most people, the answer is nothing. Nothing powerful enough to overcome the gravity of comfort. Nothing meaningful enough to make the sacrifice feel worthwhile. And this is where discipline fails before it even starts.
Here's the truth nobody talks about. Discipline is not the ability to do hard things. Discipline is the ability to do hard things for a reason that matters more than your comfort. Without that reason, without a vision that burns brighter than the pain of effort, discipline is just self-punishment, and self-punishment never lasts. Every disciplined person in history understood this. The Spartans weren't disciplined because they enjoyed suffering. They were disciplined because they had a vision of who they were, protectors of their city, warriors worthy of legend that made suffering meaningful. The monks who wake before dawn, who fast, who sit in silence for hours, they're not doing it for productivity. They're doing it because they have a vision of spiritual transcendence that makes the body's complaints irrelevant. Kobe Bryant didn't practice at 4 a.m. because he had better willpower than other players. He practiced at 4 a.m. because his vision of greatness, of becoming the best to ever play the game, was so vivid, so consuming, so real that sleeping felt like betrayal. So before we talk about habits, routines, systems, or any tactical element of discipline, we have to talk about vision, not goals. Vision. Goals are external targets. Vision is internal clarity. Goals say, I want to lose 20 pounds.
Vision says, I am becoming someone who treats their body as sacred. Goals say, I want to make 6 figures. Vision says, I am building a life where I am free, valuable, and in control of my time. Goals can be achieved and then forgotten. Vision reshapes who you are at the core. Let me give you the 3 questions that excavate true vision. Question 1. What pain are you running from? Be honest with yourself. What does the undisciplined version of your life look like if you stay on the current path? Not in vague terms, in vivid, specific, painful detail. If you never build discipline, where are you in 5 years? What does your body look like? Your bank account, your relationships, your self-respect? Most people avoid this exercise because it's uncomfortable. But discomfort is the point. You need a vision of pain so clear that staying undisciplined becomes unbearable. Question 2, what are you running toward? Now reverse it. If you become the most disciplined version of yourself, if you follow through on every promise you make to yourself for the next year, where are you? Again, be specific. What does your morning feel like? What does your body feel like when you look in the mirror? What's your work like? What do people say about you? What do you say about yourself? This is your North Star, the person you're becoming.
Question 3, why does this actually matter to you? Now go deeper. Ask why until you hit bedrock. I want to be disciplined. Why? So I can be successful. Why does success matter? So I can be free. Why does freedom matter? Because I felt trapped my whole life and I refuse to die having never experienced real freedom. There, that's your real vision, not success. Freedom from a cage you felt your whole life. When you connect discipline to something that fundamental, something that touches your deepest fears and desires, discipline stops being a chore and becomes a calling. Here's what I want you to do. Not later, not after this video. Right now, pause this video if you need to. Take 60 seconds and answer these 3 questions in your mind or write them down. What painful future am I running from? What vision am I running toward? Why does this truly matter to me? Because without these answers, the rest of this video is just theory. With them, everything that follows becomes fuel. Pillar 1 is built. You now have something to be disciplined for. A vision that can pull you out of bed when everything in your body wants to stay down. But vision alone isn't enough, because you can want something deeply and still fail to become it if you're using the wrong psychological approach, which brings us to the pillar that changes everything.
Pillar 2, the discipline of identity. In 2009, a group of researchers at Stanford conducted a study that would quietly revolutionize our understanding of behavior change. They took 2 groups of people trying to quit smoking. Both groups received the same information about the health risks. Both had access to the same resources. Both wanted to quit, but they were given different psychological frames. Group A was told to say, I'm trying to quit smoking. Group B was told to say, I'm not a smoker. The results were staggering. Group B, the group that adopted an identity statement rather than an action statement, was significantly more successful at staying smoke-free long-term. Same goal, same resources, same difficulty, different identity frame, dramatically different results. Here's why this matters for discipline. Every action you take is, at its core, a vote for who you believe you are. When you skip the gym, you're not just skipping a workout. You're casting a vote that says, I'm someone who skips workouts. When you hit snooze, you're not just getting extra sleep. You're casting a vote that says, I'm someone who chooses comfort over commitment. And here's the thing about votes, they accumulate. Cast enough votes for the undisciplined version of yourself, and that becomes your identity.
And once something becomes your identity, it becomes almost impossible to act against it. Because humans will do almost anything to remain consistent with who they believe they are. This is the second pillar, the discipline of identity. It's based on a radical reframe. Stop trying to become more disciplined. Start trying to become a disciplined person. These sound the same. They are profoundly different. Becoming more disciplined is about actions. It puts the focus on what you do. Becoming a disciplined person is about identity. It puts the focus on who you are. Actions are above the surface. They're visible, changeable, inconsistent. Identity is below the surface. It's invisible, stable, and incredibly powerful. When you try to change actions without changing identity, you're fighting gravity. You might succeed for a while through sheer effort, but eventually, your actions will drift back to match your deeper self-concept. But when you change identity first, actions follow naturally, because behavior follows belief. Let me show you how this works practically. Imagine you're faced with a moment of temptation. It's 6 a.m. Your alarm goes off. You have 2 choices. Get up and work out, or go back to sleep.
If your internal frame is, I'm trying to become disciplined, your brain treats this as a decision, and decisions require willpower, and willpower is finite. Your brain says, do I feel like getting up? Am I motivated enough today? Is it really that important? And most days the answer will be no, because feelings are unreliable. Motivation fluctuates. The warm bed will win. But if your internal frame is, I am a disciplined person, something different happens. The question isn't, do I feel like it? The question becomes, what would a disciplined person do? And the answer is obvious, non-negotiable, already decided. You're not making a choice anymore. You're honoring a commitment to who you've decided to be. So how do you actually shift your identity? 3 steps. Step 1, declare it. Write down who you are becoming. Not what you're going to do, who you are. I am someone who keeps promises to myself. I am someone who does hard things without complaint. I am someone who shows up, especially when I don't feel like it. I am a disciplined person. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't affirmation fluff. This is instructing your subconscious mind on what identity to organize your behavior around. Step 2, collect evidence. Identity isn't built through declarations alone. It's built through proof.
Every time you act in accordance with your declared identity, you're collecting evidence, building a case, strengthening the neural pathways that say, this is who I am. Woke up early? That's evidence you're disciplined. Did the hard thing first? Evidence. Kept your word to yourself? Evidence. Resisted temptation? Evidence. Create what I call an evidence bank, a running list, mental or written, of every moment you showed up as the disciplined version of yourself. When doubt creeps in, when you feel like you can't, when the old identity tries to reassert itself, you go to the evidence bank and you remind yourself, this is who you are now. You have proof. Step 3, protect the streak. There's a psychological concept called commitment and consistency bias. Once we commit to an identity publicly or through repeated action, we feel enormous pressure to stay consistent with it. Use this to your advantage. Create streaks you don't want to break. Every day you act disciplined adds to the streak, and the longer the streak, the higher the psychological cost of breaking it. I've been a disciplined person for 14 days. Am I really going to throw that away? The streak becomes its own motivation. The identity becomes its own fuel. Pillar 2 is built. You now have a vision that pulls you forward, an identity that makes discipline feel natural, not forced. But there's a problem.
Even with clear vision and strong identity, you are not operating in a vacuum. You're operating in an environment, and your environment is either building you or breaking you. Which brings us to the pillar most people completely ignore. Pillar 3, the discipline of environment. There's a famous study from the 1970s that reveals something uncomfortable about human nature. Researchers at Cornell University wanted to understand why some people eat more than others. They suspected it wasn't about willpower or self-control. So they designed a simple experiment. They placed candy bowls in office workers' environments. For some workers, the bowl was on their desk within arm's reach. For others, the bowl was 6 feet away, close enough to see, far enough to require getting up. Same candy, same workers, same desire for candy. The only difference, distance. Result, workers with candy on their desk ate an average of 9 pieces per day.
Workers with candy 6 feet away ate 3.
A tiny environmental change, 6 feet, tripled or cut consumption by 2/3. This is the third pillar, the discipline of environment. And it's based on a humbling truth. You are not as strong as you think you are. None of us are. We like to believe we're rational beings making free choices based on our values and goals. But the research is overwhelming. Most of our behavior is shaped, often dictated by our environment.
The layout of your room, the apps on your phone's home screen, the people in your social circle, the food in your refrigerator, the proximity of your gym bag to your bed. These environmental factors aren't minor influences. They're the hidden architecture that makes discipline easy or nearly impossible. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Stop trying to build enough willpower to resist your environment. Start building an environment that doesn't require willpower to navigate. The most disciplined people aren't people with superhuman self-control. They're people who have designed their lives so that self-control is rarely needed. Let me show you how to engineer your environment for automatic discipline. 2 forces to understand: friction and cues. Force 1, friction. Friction is the effort required to do something. The more friction, the less likely you'll do it. Your job: add friction to bad behaviors, remove friction from good behaviors. Want to stop wasting hours on your phone? Delete social media apps. Most friction, you'd have to re-download them. If not, delete, move them off your home screen into buried folders. Moderate friction, extra taps required. Set daily time limits that require a password to override a password you've made long and annoying to type. At night, plug your phone in across the room, not by your bed. Want to start working out in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes.
Removes friction of changing. Put your gym shoes right next to your bed, literally the first thing you step on. Prepare your gym bag the night before by the door. If you're driving, put your gym bag in the car the night before. The goal is to make the disciplined action the path of least resistance. Make it so easy that it takes more effort to avoid it than to do it. Force 2. Cues. Cues are environmental triggers that prompt behavior. Removes friction of changing. Put your gym shoes right next to your bed, literally the first thing you step on. Prepare your gym bag the night before by the door. If you're driving, put your gym bag in the car the night before. The goal is to make the disciplined action the path of least resistance. Make it so easy that it takes more effort to avoid it than to do it. Force 2. Cues. Cues are environmental triggers that prompt behavior.
We are constantly responding to cues, usually unconsciously. Your job: flood your environment with cues for the behavior you want. Eliminate cues for the behavior you don't. If your phone is on your desk while you work, its very presence is a cue. Even if notifications are off, your brain knows it's there. It's constantly pulling a tiny bit of your attention, whispering, "Check me." Put it in another room, in a drawer, in a box. Remove the cue.
Meanwhile, place cues for what you want. The book you want to read, open on your desk, your journal, waiting with a pen on top. A water bottle in your eye line so you drink more water. A sticky note with your vision statement where you'll see it every morning. You're not leaving behavior to chance anymore. You're directing it through design. Now let me address the environmental force most people underestimate. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn. The humans in your environment are the most powerful environmental factor of all. If your closest friends are undisciplined, excuse-making, comfort-seeking, their gravity will pull you down. Not because they're bad people, but because humans unconsciously calibrate to the norms of their social group. You will rise or fall to the average of your environment. I want you to conduct an honest audit. Physical environment. Does your space make discipline easy or hard? What cues are pulling you toward distraction? What friction is blocking good habits? What changes could you make today? Digital environment. What's on your phone's home screen? What do you see first when you open your laptop? What content is your algorithm feeding you? Social environment. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with?
Are they building the life you want or escaping from life? Do you have anyone in your life modeling the discipline you seek? Don't skip this. Your environment is either your greatest ally or your silent saboteur. Design it intentionally or it will design your behavior for you. Pillar 3 is built. You now have a vision that pulls you forward, an identity that makes discipline natural, an environment engineered for success. But there's one final pillar, and without it, the other 3 eventually collapse. Because discipline without recovery isn't sustainable. It's a slow march toward burnout. Pillar 4, the discipline of recovery. There's a type of discipline that's rarely talked about in motivational spaces. We celebrate grinding, we glorify the hustle, we praise the person who works 18-hour days, who sleeps 4 hours, who never takes breaks. And we're creating a generation of burnt-out high achievers who confuse self-destruction with discipline. Here's what I want you to understand. Recovery is not the opposite of discipline. Recovery is a form of discipline, perhaps the most important form. Think about how muscle is built. You lift heavy weights, the muscle fibers tear. This is stress, damage, but the muscle doesn't get stronger during the workout.
It gets stronger during the recovery period after, when the fibers repair and rebuild. Without adequate recovery, the muscle never rebuilds. It just keeps tearing. Eventually, it breaks down entirely. Your mind works exactly the same way. Discipline creates cognitive load. Decision-making depletes mental resources. Focus drains energy reserves. This is good. This is the workout of your mind. But without recovery, without periods of genuine rest, the mind never replenishes. You're running on an empty tank, wondering why everything feels so hard. I've seen it countless times. The person who goes all out in January, waking at 5 a.m., perfect diet, 3 hours of deep work, gym every day, and by March they've completely stopped. Not because they lacked vision, not because their identity wasn't strong, not because their environment was wrong, but because they violated the fundamental rule of sustainable performance. You cannot operate at maximum intensity indefinitely. You're not a machine. Even machines need maintenance. So how do we build the discipline of recovery? There are 3 levels. Level 1, daily recovery. Every day needs built-in recovery periods, not optional, scheduled. This means sleep, non-negotiable, 7-8 hours, protected like your life depends on it, because it does. Breaks during work.
The Pomodoro technique isn't just about productivity, it's about sustainable productivity. Evening wind down, a period where you deliberately shift out of production mode. The disciplined person doesn't work until they collapse. They work intensely, then recover intentionally. Level 2, weekly recovery. Every week needs at least one significant recovery period. A Sabbath, if you will, secular or religious. This is a period where discipline means doing less, not more. No work, no productive self-improvement, just being. This isn't laziness. This is strategic withdrawal that allows you to return stronger. The great irony, taking regular breaks makes you more productive over time, not less. You're playing the long game. Level 3, seasonal recovery. Every few months, you need a more extended recovery period. A vacation, a retreat, a week where the primary goal is restoration. Ancient farmers understood something we've forgotten. You cannot harvest endlessly. The land must lie fallow. If you keep extracting without rest, you deplete the soil. The crops fail. You are the land. Your discipline is the harvest. Rest is what replenishes the soil for next season's growth. I want to give you a reframe that will change how you see rest. You've probably been taught explicitly or implicitly that rest is a reward for hard work.
Something you earn after you've been sufficiently productive. This is backwards. Rest is not a reward. Rest is an investment. You're not resting because you deserve it. You're resting because the future demands it. The person who rests strategically is investing in their future capacity. They're ensuring that tomorrow's work is high quality, that next week's focus is sharp, that next month's discipline is sustainable. The person who never rests is withdrawing from their future capacity. They're borrowing energy from tomorrow, next week, next month, and eventually the debt comes due. Pillar 4 is built. You now have the complete architecture, vision, the clarity of purpose that makes sacrifice meaningful, identity, the self-concept that makes discipline feel natural, environment, the physical and social architecture that makes discipline easy, recovery, the restoration that makes discipline sustainable. 4 pillars, 1 unshakable foundation. Now let's make this real. I'm gonna give you a complete audit, a diagnostic you can use right now to identify exactly where your discipline architecture is weak. For each pillar, I'll ask you a question. Answer honestly. Pillar 1 audit, vision. Can you articulate in 1 sentence why you want to be disciplined? Not to be successful, not to be better, the deeper why.
The specific, personal, emotionally charged reason that's true for you. If you can't, pillar 1 is your weak point. Go back to the vision excavation questions. Don't move forward until you can answer this clearly. Pillar 2 audit, identity. When you think about yourself right now, do you think of yourself as a disciplined person? Not becoming disciplined, not trying to be disciplined. Do you currently identify as disciplined? If not, pillar 2 is your weak point.
Start the identity shift protocol. Declare who you're becoming. Start collecting evidence. Build the streak. Pillar 3 audit, environment. If someone looked at your environment right now, your room, your phone, your social circle, would they guess that you're trying to become disciplined? Is your environment set up to make discipline easy, or is it actively working against you? If it's working against you, pillar 3 is your weak point. Conduct the environmental audit.
Add friction to bad behaviors. Remove friction from good ones. Upgrade your environment before you try to upgrade your willpower. Pillar 4 audit, recovery. Do you have intentional, scheduled recovery built into your days, weeks, and year? Not I rest when I'm exhausted. Proactive, strategic recovery that's non-negotiable. If not, pillar 4 is your weak point. Build recovery into your system. Protect your sleep. Schedule your Sabbath. Plan your seasonal restoration.
Be honest with yourself. Which pillar is weakest? That's where your discipline architecture is most vulnerable. That's where you focus first. You don't need to rebuild everything at once. You need to identify the single point of failure and reinforce it. Fix the weakest pillar and the whole structure becomes stronger. We began this video in darkness, the 3 a.m. doubt, the broken promises, the fear that this year will be just like the last.
And now I want to leave you with something different. Not hype, not motivation, not empty promises that will fade by next week. I want to leave you with a choice. Right now in this moment, you're standing at a fork. One path leads back to the person you've been, the pattern you know, the comfortable, familiar cycle of wanting to change but never quite doing it. That path is easy to take. It requires no effort. You just close this video and go back to scrolling.
Back to waiting, back to hoping that someday, somehow, discipline will just arrive. The other path is different. It's harder. It requires you to confront uncomfortable truths, to build systems you've avoided building, to become someone you've never been. But at the end of that path, 12 months from now, at the end of 2026, there's a version of you that you've been waiting your whole life to meet. A version of you who keeps promises to yourself.
Who does hard things without negotiating? Who doesn't need motivation because discipline is just who you are now? That version of you is possible. But they're not guaranteed. They only exist if you choose them, if you build them, brick by brick, pillar by pillar, day by day. So here's my question for you, and I don't ask it lightly. What are you going to do with what you just learned? Are you going to let this be another video you watched and forgot? Or are you going to let this be the moment you look back on as the beginning of everything changing?
2026 is not a guarantee, it's a canvas, and you're holding the brush. Start with one pillar, the weakest one. Reinforce it this week, not someday, this week, and then build. Because a year from now, you'll arrive at December 2026. The only question is, who will you be when you get there? Build the architecture.
Become the person and make 2026 the year you stop waiting and started becoming. If this video helped you see discipline differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not for the algorithm, but because someone in your life is fighting the same battle you're fighting, and sometimes the right words at the right time can change everything. I'll see you in the next video. Go build something.